Rock bottom. Uh, this is a hard video to do because a video like this, you kind of give up a piece of yourself. Well, where to start? Machinima dropped me January 28th this year. And I made a few decisions in my life that really crippled me when they dropped me. Because I had like a 3-year contract with Machinima. I signed one. And under the premise of me signing a 3-year contract, I bought things and made obligations that I normally otherwise would not have. But basically they had like a clause to get out the contract, whereas I thought I was in it for 3 years and the money I was making was gonna last for 3 years. It turned on top of my head, but that's the sob story everybody has. Regardless, January came. I finished January strong with 3.1 million views. And then it came to the point where I had to find another partner or re-sign with Machinima at a marginally lower rate. So I decided to try somebody else for a couple reasons. One, I didn't feel Machinima was a ship that was staying afloat. I don't know the reasoning behind Machinima dropping everybody. I know they were losing money on my channel, and they were giving me a rate that they wouldn't lose money on my channel. They would actually break even. They weren't trying to hoodoo me in any way, shape, or form. But I felt that I needed to switch to a situation where I would get paid what my channel actually makes. I didn't want to go straight through AdSense because I was afraid that I would have nobody to go to bat for me if I would get a strike. And I didn't. And Google is very hard to deal with if you're not in their little circle. With Machinima, they're on the board of they're on the board of YouTube because they're like the number 3 biggest channel. And you have other big partnerships that can, get strikes removed if something would happen, because a strike on a channel really hinders it. And so I ended up going with full screen because they basically offered me the deal everybody else offered. Almost every other network was just a subsidiary of full screen, and they offered a worse spread. And with full screen, I got a sign-on bonus and a partnership at the same time. And I basically jumped into uncharted waters, and it didn't work out. Basically in February, which is a 28-day month, which is notoriously for being the worst month of the year anyway, I did very poorly. I mean, I missed the first week because I didn't have a partnership, and then people questioned me I was only doing YouTube for money, and then I got depressed, and shit just fell apart because I didn't know how I was going to pay my bills. I could see that the projected payments wasn't going to be on par with paying my bills, and so all I did was cross my fingers and get more and more depressed. So I went from averaging around 3 million views for the last 3.5 years to averaging 1.5 million views. So my views got cut in half like the very next, as soon as I started back. And a lot of that comes from me not making as many videos. Beforehand, January, February, and March pay abysmally. They pay very little. There's just no ads. Christmas time's up. All the advertisers use all their marketing money, and the marketing money hasn't replenished. So there's no big summertime movies coming out. Nobody's really putting big inventions out. So ad sales are very little. You generally get whatever Google ad sales are, which you pay Google a certain percentage of your money for those Google ad sales. So that's that. So basically, my channel's not doing very well. I've been going into the red for February, March, April, May, June. 5 months now. I've been going into the red. Going into red meaning I'm spending more than I'm making via bills and livelihoods and necessities. Which, that's none of your guys' fault. I'm just letting you know part of rock bottom. I'm by no means in a point where I need money right now. I'm not even begging for money or asking for money, so there's no need to go there. I'm not even close to that point yet. I'm probably 6 or 7 months out of that still, before it gets to a point where like, oh shit, I'm broke. I'm not there yet. Luckily for me, I had somewhere along the lines of 20 grand saved up, and yeah, I've been living off that. But I digress. One of the things that helped me stay through this, and one of the things that kind of hindered this in the same speaking, is Brandy. I met Brandy in August, and we started going out. And in January, I got depressed. But toward the end of January, I got depressed, and I kind of started taking days off. And I really liked not having to do YouTube. Like, you got to understand the idea that I've worked 7 days a week for the last 3.5, 4 years at that point, never missing a day, uploading anywhere from 3 to 5 videos a day. And when I got that week off, it kind of like kick-started a lazy bug in me. And when you start getting lazy, you start laying down, you start sleeping more, you start getting depressed, you start realizing how fat you are, and end up being fat depresses you, and that makes you want to eat. When you eat, you feel depressed. It's just the constant cycle of being a failure. That on top of just the negative comments. People are always like, why do you point and just zero in those negative comments? And like, I just can't help it. I can't. I used to have the skin of an elephant. Back in Modern Warfare 2, maybe Black Ops 1, I could care fuck less what you said about me. One, because I was making plenty of money, and money does help you with thick skin. And I enjoyed not being in the room because it kind of alleviated cabin fever. If you don't know what cabin fever is, it's kind of like it's a feeling. And I can't define the feeling. It's more like, it's just this feeling that overcomes you, that you just have to get out of the house. You have to get out of this room. It's actually a form of torture. Like, you ever put a person in a white room with nothing there? Your brain just can't handle it, and you get really antsy, and it fills you with anxiety. And Brandy was the only thing holding. It's hard to say. Excuse me. This is unedited, by the way. Brandy was the only thing that was keeping me up. And I don't know what life holds for me now. I fail at every diet I take. I fail at every workout regimen I ever do. I give up so easily. I've never succeeded in anything. And people could say I've succeeded in YouTube, but it doesn't feel like it. It feels like every time I look, there's another new channel that's just in full throttle passing me. And my channel hasn't really grown in probably 2.5 years, probably pushing 3 at this point. I mean, I'm currently growing like 80 subs a day, and that's like 80 subs a day. That's like 560 subs a week. And some people would love that, but for a channel my size, that's pretty much no growth at all. Because being a channel of my size, you get a lot more benefits that other people don't get. You get like front page spots in gaming. You get all these other things. And like, if I was to ask somebody coming to my channel what was my channel about, I couldn't tell them. Like, I don't know, a guy that plays games. I mean, I've been trying to do the change up on the channel. You see the new banner, you see the new layouts, you see me trying extra hard on certain videos. And have lots of people that put extra time into me. I mean, they put their time in for free, and like, I don't know how to repay them. I don't know how to give them gratitude, but at the same time, it's not working. Last of Us, for example. I put a lot of salt into The Last of Us. I bought the game when it came out. I beat it within 12 hours on Twitch TV on hard mode, and then I started the Let's Play the next day and up on Survivor mode. And like, the first thing that happened was people started bickering that I'm not doing a blind Let's Play, which I'm like, oh, people want to see blind Let's Plays. And ow, I bit my tongue. And I basically had SEO tags. I had people that pretty much wrote Google search engine give me tags. We looked at other people that were succeeding in tags, and like, none of it worked. I'm still like one of the least viewed Last of Us Let's Plays out there. I mean, like, I see people that I've never even heard of that have success with it, whereas I didn't, and I don't know why. I don't, and that bothers me that I don't know why. Like, it feels like it makes it feels like you can't succeed. That, coupled on the Brandy breaking up with me, which sucks, because I have to do this, and I can't keep a balance in life, and I can't afford to go get another girlfriend, because I can't afford to take people out right now, because I'm pretty much making no money. Every month's the red. This is why I bitch on Twitter all the time. This is why people see me as a sad person. I just feel so alone. This Uber Eats today. Hung out with the wife, watched a little bit of the Braves game, and here I am. I can't say I love streaming, but it's something I'll do for you. I just wish streaming was more fun, like, honestly. Like, I wish people would come in and chill out, and it'd be an enjoyable experience, but, you know, shit happens. I remember, like, all the things I used to find hard as a kid. As an adult, I realized I was just an idiot as a kid. Thought about going back to a blue-collar job in a factory? Nah, I'm good. I'm good. My biggest, like, to me, like, the biggest thing I look for in a job, like, I know this might sound dumb, but, like, to me, the best benefit a job can have is to allow me to sleep in whenever I fucking want. Like, to me, like, not having to set an alarm clock is the best benefit a job can have. I'll have to come back for this. I'll make less money to work a job that doesn't require me to, like, set a time. That's why I'm always so against
Our shop carries the finest dwarven
people being like, hey,
all the way from the Sunset Mountains.
You should do a schedule. I'm like, no, fuck it. Not having a schedule is the main benefit of this job. Honestly, at this point in my life, I don't even like video games. Band Calmer 94. Yeah, well, the Rainbow Strings are probably... They're at the verge of probably never coming back at this point. I don't... it's at the point where I don't even want to play the game anymore. And dealing with trolling shit while not wanting to play the game is a recipe of me just not playing it. Like I said, anybody's life under a microscope will make you look like a shitty person. Anybody's life. I mean, look what they do to Phil, right? Like, Phil lives most of his life in his condo playing video games, but yet somehow they make him out to be, like, one of the worst people that you could ever talk about, right? It's like Phil's just a dude trying to get by. That's all Phil's trying to do. Phil is not nefarious. Phil's not out here trying to like create connections and bring people down and like having like, you know, sex rings or anything of that nature. Phil is just trying to do the best of what he has. My wife, for my birthday, bought me a game called Planet Coaster. That game right there. My birthday was in April. It took me a month to even take it out of the wrapper and put it into my PlayStation. Soft lock yourself. Do out what you will. There should be no such thing as a billionaire. No such thing. I think a person's yearly wealth should be capped at $10 million, and a business should be capped at $100 million. Job creators have too much power these days. They just have too much power. You got to take it back from them. Go look at the Valentine's Day massacre, right? Like remember, people had to be shot for us to get 2-day weekends. Literally shot. Like, people stood in arm's lengths, hooked together like this, and instead of like giving people days off so they could be with their family, they hired Pinkertons to go down to the old fucking steel mill with a Tommy gun and shoot people. This is a real thing. Go look this shit up. That's how it used to be in the fucking, fucking early 1900s. Just remember that at some point in our country, there was businesses that would pay people with store credits and not actual wages. This basically created slaves, right? Basically created slaves because you got paid in a currency that only worked at the store the company owned. And the company set the prices for the items that they had in the store. You wanted deodorant, you had to buy the company's deodorant. You wanted food, you had to buy company's food. You wanted soap, you had to buy the company's soap. That's where businesses will lead you to. They will work you to the fucking bone. They will work you to death, and when you die, they will take an insurance policy out on you, roll you out the back door, and put the next entry-level robot in front of you. Stand up for yourself. This whole now hiring pandemic, good. I hope all the businesses go under. I will cook my own fucking food before I want somebody to work for like a fucking slave wage. Elon Musk is a genius? No, Elon Musk is a guy who made PayPal, and he convinced a lot of people that his car company is the best thing since sliced bread. Like, the only good move Elon Musk done recently was investing in Bitcoin and making $100 million off of it. I'm assuming Attitude Era is from like 98 to like 2003. No. There's very little reason for my wife to get on stream. Like, she doesn't make money off this stuff. I hate the word excited. Like, it's such a generic word. Are you excited for this? I don't get excited for anything. No, I haven't. Yeah, I beat the school bus. How come I hate everything that has to do with happiness? I don't know. I mean, I don't hate happiness. I generally don't get feelings of happiness. Like, it takes a lot for that to manifest it in my life. I wouldn't say I live my life in depression, though. I ask myself that every time. Like, why do I go get a Coke when I could just drink water? There's nothing in my body that desires Coke. There's nothing in my body that needs Coca-Cola to live, right? But if I want to drink something, I'll drink something with taste and has a cool kick to it. There's an addiction. Like, sugar is an addictive substance. People don't want to admit it, but sugar is addictive. And I'd say it's one of the most addictive substances on earth. You have water does the same thing soda does, right? Let's go get one. I'll be right back. You only get that by fucking people. Have you gotten your land by fucking people? I mean, if you want to go back far enough in the timeline, yeah. I mean, like, every piece of land in the United States was owned by the Native Americans. All we did was roll up and put a flag on it, my ancestors. My wife asked me just the other day, it's like, why do we both work 2 jobs? I'm tired of working 2 jobs. And I told her, I'm like, because there's a point in life that we might have to choose between eating and medicine, and I don't want to make that choice. So we work now while we can work, so later when we can't work, we don't have to make choices that affect us at that level. I think I'm ever happy. I suffer from manic depression, and I have terrible anxiety. I have a horrible fear of failure. I look fat as hell right now. Holy moly. I look fat as hell. I don't need sex appeal, dude. I'm married. It really hits home because, like, I'm one of the victims of organized cyberbullying. And, like, yeah, I deal with it. It is what it is, right? I try to stay above and beyond it. But, like, it gets so tiring. I have to change my entire life around and prepare for the worst because people want to have a laugh, right? Just imagine if every day you went into your job and there was just three people that stood there all day and tried to get you fired. There's nothing that people could do about it. Your job can't take them away. You can't call the cops on them. But those 3 people watch you like a hawk, waiting for you to mess up to get you fired. I'm sorry, guys. I gotta talk about this. This is some stupid bullshit. And what I'm talking about is this, and let me go ahead and lay the framework here. It's about Modern Warfare 2 and Favela, and it's about Infinity Ward. But it's about a video I've seen. I don't have the link to the video. You have to find it. I'm not going to promote it or any way like that because it's stupid. And I don't even know if what I'm hearing is right, so let me go and lay the foundation for you to kind of know what context this video is coming to you in. Alright? Well, I was sitting on Twitter. I was about to play some Resident Evil 6. And Thunder tweeted out that, oh good, they took Favela out. I didn't care about that shitty game anyway. And, you know, obviously the standard, you know, I hate Call of Duty kind of stuff. And that stuff happens. But what happened was somebody else tweeted and said they took it out because of something that was offensive to a religion was in Favela, to Muslims. So I went and looked the video up, and the video basically is this. It sets it up like this. There's a bathroom in Favela. It's right above the B flag. And in the bathroom there's a toilet, and above the toilet there's 2 pictures with frames on them. The frames have Arabic writing on them, and they basically portray Allah as a good God or whatever. But in the Muslim religion, you're not allowed to put something like that in a room like the bathroom. Okay. Let me go ahead and say some stuff right here. And what I'm about to say might offend some people. I can guarantee it's going to offend some people. And good. Because you're fucking retarded. I'm serious. Like, I beat around the bush all the time about this. But to take a map out of the game, keep in mind this game is about the Russians having a war with the United States. A more serious threat than religion in itself. This game was ridiculed for killing civilians in an airport with machine gun fire. But you want to take a map out of a game that is 2 years old. Well, no, it's 3 years old at this point, because it says Allah is good on a picture frame in a dirty bathroom. Are you fucking retarded? Seriously. I'm failing to grasp the words required to eloquently speak this. You believe in a false
deity. You believe in a magical man in the sky. You believe motherfuckers can fly. You believe that a boat carried 10 million motherfucking species for 40 days and 40 nights. You believe that some man can live inside stomach acid of a whale for 3 whole days and come out scare-free. You believe in Set. You believe in the fucking day and the night gods. You believe that you are the center of the fucking universe. You believe that the sun goes around the earth and the earth doesn't go around the sun. You believe that everything is all-knowing, all-being. Let me get you in on this. Let me lay it to you flat. This right here might crash my channel, but I don't give a shit at this point. The earth is something like 12 billion years old. Humans are somewhere along the lines of 4,000 years old. So why would a deity zap us into his creation and snap us out? I said the universe, right? I meant to say Earth is 4 billion years old. The universe is 12 billion, and humans are around 4,000. These are not direct numbers, but these are basically generalization. But why would a deity create us in his likeness? And remember, in his likeness, and zap us out just as quick. 4 billion years, that's a long motherfucking time. I mean, what percentage is that? That's like 0.0001% of the time on this earth. And let me go ahead and go back to in his likeness. If we were created in a deity's likeness, the deity would not be all-knowing or omnipotent. You know why? We wouldn't have alcoholics. We wouldn't have addiction. We wouldn't have crackheads. So if a deity would make us in his likeness, he could be an alcoholic or a crackhead too. That's the way it works. But the fact is, we are an microorganism on a speck of dust in the scheme of things. Just like we have bacteria in our stomach. We don't know the bacteria's name. We don't know their culture. We don't know anything like that. They might have a little world down there. Who knows? It might be microscopic. But on the same breath of that, we are that in the world. We are not the center of the universe. We're not even the center of our own galaxy. We don't even have the biggest star in our galaxy. We are not the only planet that can sustain life in the universe. We are not special in any form or way. Life is not sacred. If life was sacred, how can thousands upon thousands of motherfuckers be snatched away every second that you breathe? If life is sacred, it's almost as stupid as PETA. Yes, I said PETA. The PETA. The stupid animal organization. They save on average 2,000 animals a year. They put to sleep on average 1,400 animals a year, but they firebomb clinics that make diabetes drugs. They firebomb places that work on shampoo. Medical research on animals is the key to keeping longevity in life. That's why we live 80 years instead of 50. Peter, fuck, I don't even know why I'm going on about this. I'm just upset right now. Why on earth are you changing a game based off a religion, a fairy tale, a false belief? Yes, you can bomb the fuck out of whoever you want to bomb over there. But look here, you're playing in an American game where we have the freedom of religion, the freedom of speech and everything, and you choose to play this American game. Don't be making them change a game because of that. Guess what? There is death, there is killing in the basic Modern Warfare 2. There is killing that happens in this game. That is against the 10 Commandments. Another fracture, another spin-off of your belief. But you know what? We're not taking the maps out that have killing in them, are we? It's fucking stupid. Your opinions?
What's up, guys? It's your boy Wingsofredemption, and I'm bringing you a little hardcore TDM gameplay on Convoy. And the reason we played hardcore TDM is because for some reason we couldn't get in a regular TDM game. So, all you guys want hardcore, here you go. But I got another topic I want to discuss today, and it's kind of a big topic. And it's kind of a hard-hitting topic that a lot of people disagree with. But the topic I'm going to basically go over with you is why you can't burn in hell. Everybody's heard the saying, I hope you burn in hell. You'll burn in hell if your God doesn't save your soul. Or anything like that. But other than the obvious, let me break down why you physically cannot burn in hell. Okay? to do that, or to properly do that, we need to find out what fire is. Alright, everybody knows what fire is. You've seen fire, you know, lightning hits a tree, fire happens and ignites. Everybody's seen that, knows that. But what is fire really? Let's look at it on a scientific level. Fire is actually a chemical reaction. Typically a chemical reaction between oxygen and atmosphere or some sort of fuel, be it wood, gasoline, grass, tree, which is wood again, and you got to have some kind of ignition source, because like a tree actually creates oxygen, so it's not going to be like randomly catch on fire. So what it has to do is have some form of heat. For example, sunlight. Let's say it has some dried leaves at the base of the tree, and sunlight is piercing through the canopy of the trees into these leaves to the point where they actually just superheated to the point where it decomposes and changes the chemical makeup of the actual leaves or wood. Let's use wood at this thing. Something heats the wood to a very high temperature. The heat can come in a lot of different things. We're using sunlight for this example. It takes generally 150 degrees Celsius to break down and ignite a spark in wood. And what this ended up doing is, I said Fahrenheit. It's 150 degrees Celsius, 300 degrees Fahrenheit. My bad. But what basically happens is you decompose the material that was released into volatile gases. These gases are generally known as smoke. Smoke is compounds of hydrogen, carbon, and oxygen. The other things result in the char, the rest of the material, which is purely carbon. And ash is everything that in the wood that cannot burn whatsoever. But what it is at a even deeper rate is atoms. Let's say for example, you have 6 carbon, you have 10 hydrogen, 15 oxygen, plus the heat source, which is the light energy from the sun, and it breaks down and changes its atoms to something else, such as 50 carbon, 10 hydrogen, oxygen plus 10 CH2Os, and carbon. What are those things called? Carbon. I don't know. I'm just doing this off the top of my head. I'm trying to remember the actual makeup of fire. What it does is it changes the atoms compound into it, and it creates photons. Photons then react with your skin. That's why you see different lights, and that's why there's different colors, because each atom in the actual wood or pieces itself is reacting differently. And as it gets hotter, it changes color because the atom itself is changing makeup. It's becoming something completely different, and that happens in a chemical reaction. So what this basically all tells us is that 1, I suck at explaining what fire actually is, but 2, it explains that you need atoms to create fire itself. Alright, well, let's look at it in another basis, because we know that it requires 3 things to create fire. You need an energy source, you need a oxygen or some other gassy source. Oxygen generally is the gas it uses, and you need a fuel type material, something that is able to catch fire. Like cement is unable to catch fire because it does not create the proper atoms to catch fire. That makes sense. So when somebody tells you that you're going to go to hell and you're going to burn for a long time, what does that mean to you? Well, 1, you could ask them, like, if I go to hell, I'm dead, right? And if I'm dead, I don't have any living atoms in my body because I'm a celestial being at that point, right? And they're obviously going to agree with you at this point. So you could be like, well, if I don't have any atoms, how is anything going to catch fire? And then they might throw the whole bullshit like, well, it's magical fire. And once they say that, the conversation is pretty much over, because you don't believe in magic as much as the next person. You don't believe that so and so can use a sleight of hand card trick and actually change a $1 bill into a 5. It just doesn't happen because you're a smart person. You don't know this. So why would you believe that in magic fire? Fire is not magic, but for hundreds of years humans have believed it was magic until we actually broke down and understood what fire was. Another pointed example: you are dead. Your earthly body no longer exists. What causes pain? Well, Pain is a feeling that your body puts out through nerve endings that tells your brain that your body is becoming damaged. If you no longer have a body or a earthly vessel, how will the fire react with your atoms or protons in your skin to cause the pain? You no longer have nerve endings, so why are you even fearing fire? And if all this is true, what does fire tell us? It tells me that they have electricity, oxygen, light, and an atmosphere in hell. And that's some way you can change those to the point where you can make hell livable. You could probably escape the fire. You could probably get out of there. And if you're eternal, because you're going to burn forever, you have plenty of time to think about how to escape the fire. How many people have died in the last 400 years? All these free thinkers that lived lives of sin and ate pork and, molested little boys or whatever. You have all these great minds. You don't think anybody's got together sitting in a fire instead of like, hey Bill, why don't we just not go stand over there? Is every waking period on fire? I mean, if that's the case, Satan's minions would be on fire. I mean, it's just silly. The idea of hell is silly, and that's the reason you can't burn in hell. I mean, it's just, as Spock would say, illogical. It's really, really dumb. And if you actually looked into the facts instead of and looked into what people are actually believing you or telling you, you'd understand these kind of things. But that's the reason you can't burn in hell, and that's the reason hell does not exist. Period. A piano window. I was talking to a guy that was, better off than I am, right? And I asked him, why didn't he do any kind of cryptocurrency? Because, cryptocurrency is a huge deal right now.
One on heaven. He's on heaven.
And he's told me that cryptocurrency is not safe enough, right? Lots of people are getting rich on cryptocurrency, but it's not a safe bet.
Shotgun and reading hard right.
And he explained it like this. It's a high risk, high reward. And even though it's legal, it's still high risk, high reward. So the money's not worth it. Because you can make good money in like Dogecoin and Bitcoin and things like that. But you also can make good money selling crack cocaine. High risk, high reward.
There you go.
No, it's the same risk as crack. Like crack, you buy crack sells itself, but you risk going to jail for life, right? Or multiple years. You fuck your financial future up. You put the vast majority of your money into crypto, and crypto either goes big or it goes down and you lose all your money. Same effect. Both of them financially ruin you. There's other things like the point is, wealthy people take certified deals, right? Wealthy people take small gains over high risk, right? Like, for example, like playing the lottery is gambling, right? Putting money down on crypto is essentially gambling. Short trading stocks is gambling. You don't see Warren Buffett doing these things. If you could make money playing like the lottery, like the education lottery, you'd have to push Warren Buffett out of line to buy fucking lottery tickets. But you don't see Warren Buffett in line to buy lottery tickets because it's too much of a risk.
10 seconds before insertion.
Crypto is like crack because it's high risk, high reward. You can make good money doing both, but you can lose your money doing both as well.
What are you getting from crack, Jordy?